So I did like every great boyfriend in the world does, which is just start acting like an asshole. When I was let go from Novartis, I had what I would say are two options to pick from. It was either I start looking for an opportunity within a similar industry within pharmaceuticals, because at the time, a lot of people were let go and there weren't a lot of oncology opportunities. And the ones that there were, I didn't have any pull within those organizations, as well as the experience of the other people that were interviewing for those roles around me. And then the other option was going to be going into a completely different industry, which, as you guys are aware, that's exactly what I did. I went into the health tech industry and I was excited for that change, but I had a thought in the back of my head as I was transitioning into this new field. If I was able to still find another opportunity within oncology and I burned this bridge, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing because I had never worked in SaaS sales before. And for me, I still wanted to be in oncology. I knew that that was the space that I wanted to be in and where I knew I wanted my growth to go. And so as I took this other opportunity, that was a thought that I already had in the back of my head. And during my time in the health tech industry, I thought it was very cool at first. All the different new things that I was seeing from different companies throughout like the entire industry. I thought it was very interesting. But for me, I need something that really drives my mind. And I just couldn't really get behind having the same technical discussion on an everyday basis. I was very excited when I first got started, but as the days and months went on, to me, it was something where I just felt like I was a broken record repeating the same thing over and over again. And I didn't feel within me the drive that I would feel like I did when I was at an oncology role prior, the RLT program that I was in, and when I was in medical sales. Those things really drove me and gave me that thought in the back of my head of I am doing things that are making a difference for a patient. I was a part of that patient plan, and I really took that to heart. And I knew that the work that I was putting in was a big difference when it came to what the outcomes of the patients that I wasn't necessarily hand touching them, but the actions that I was doing were affecting what was going on in the background. So I did like every great boyfriend in the world does, which is just start acting like an asshole and just not caring, putting in the amount of effort that is not going to get you fired, essentially, and started looking elsewhere because like most boyfriends, they don't want to break up with the girl. And I didn't want to be the one that comes up and goes, "Hey, I'm not really enjoying my time here, so I'm deucing out." At the same time, I didn't have another opportunity yet. But as I was in that mind space, I decided, you know what? I'm going to start looking for some other opportunities. And at the same time, my wife and I, we were talking, as you guys are aware, I live in Austin, Texas, and this is an expensive area to live in. And we have some massive equity that has been built into our home. And what we wanted to do, even though really right now is not the greatest time to move, is we decided, hey, let's get up and move. Where could we go? And looking at all the different areas where I could still do the job that I was doing within health tech, Kentucky was an opportunity. And that's because my wife graduated from the University of Kentucky in Lexington. She has family there, she's got friends there. And it just felt like a pretty simple transition to make that kind of shift. And when we decided on that, that's when I started looking for opportunities to get back into oncology. And lo and behold, I found one. And what I will go back to and continue to harp on is how great my networking is, as well as the amount of work that I did for the different people that I had reached out to, for them to actually feel like they didn't have anything that they would have to worry about by giving me a stamp of approval and sending some positive notes to the manager as well as the regional director that for the role that I was interviewing for. And I don't know how many people were in that interview process. I think it was five, maybe six, and I was the unanimous decision across all of those candidates. So I want to make sure that you guys understand that networking is a huge thing. You guys have to make sure to, within the organization that you're in or other organizations that you want to get into, begin to network, begin to create those relationships with those other partners within that organization. Because when opportunities do arise, they, if you've made a positive impression on them, they will put basically their stamp of approval on you. And I get asked this all the time from multiple reps that are wanting to get into certain industries, and they'll ask if I can put in a good word for them. But that's the very first thing that they ask me. They reach out to me on LinkedIn or Instagram or something like that. And within that very first message, they're already asking me to put in a good word. And I don't even know who they are. So, how can I give them a stamp of approval? So, you have to do some due diligence on your end. You got to do some work on your end. But as you guys saw in the title, the role that I'm going to be doing in Kentucky is taking me back into oncology, and what is unquote or quote unquote a step back. The thing about that is it's actually really not a step back for all the real ones that have been following this journey, essentially from the very beginning. You guys know that I got into radioligand therapy, which I'll say is RLT, at a very, let's say, infant stage of my sales within oncology career. I hardly had any oncolytic sales in my background, but I was able to sell my way into that opportunity. And I did very well in that opportunity and was able to develop a lot of relationships with multiple people within the organization, as well as physicians that would put in a positive word for me as well. So those are some key factors too when it comes to applying for these roles, is having the capability of even having a doctor send a positive note for you. So what I did was I looked at the opportunities and decided that there were RLT opportunities available, but in my opinion, I haven't really ever worked a regular oncology role. I haven't been in the space to where I can build some solid relationships to really have like a leg to stand on. So when I looked at the two options of either going into women's health and doing breast oncolytic, or going back into RLT, I made the strategic decision to take a step back and start really building my resume around some solid oncology experience. And my forethought on that is the space of RLT right now is within neuroendocrine tumor and prostate. And there's only one company that has a therapeutic available, and they are in the process of trying to get a lung or a breast RLT therapeutic into the market. Those are probably anywhere between 3 to 5 years out from looking at what the data shows online. And I look at that as I have 3 to 5 years to really make a name for myself within the breast space. And when one of those opportunities do open up in the future, I will be basically, I would say, light years ahead of most, because there are very few number of people that have RLT experience, and I'm one of those people. During this time in this interview process, I actually got a job offer to go to another startup that is trying to get into the neuroendocrine tumor space, and I ended up turning that opportunity down for this forethought of where I believe the industry is going to go. So I'm excited to show you guys the journey. I'm in the process of moving. I'm kind of sad because we literally just redid this office, and but it's going to be a great experience. We're looking at the opportunity of doing some homesteading in Kentucky, buying some land, doing all this kind of thing. So I'm excited to take you guys on that journey. I should be getting a car delivered to me. I'm really hoping it's the one that I want, and just show you guys, what it's like to be within that space, the space that I want to be in, which is oncology, and then still show you guys different things that can actually translate into multiple different sales roles. So enjoy the experience, enjoy the journey. I'm excited. Let's get to it.